I love to play tug of war with my dogs and our students' dogs. It's a great way to bond and to tap into a natural instinct they have to tug. As with any good game, it's really important that you follow the rules so everyone stays safe and has a great time. Hi, I'm Paula with Canine Country Academy. We create videos to give you the tools and the skills to have a well-mannered dog, all while building the relationship you both deserve. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to have fun playing tug with your dog, how to incorporate it into your training, and most importantly, to follow the rules. While playing tug with your dog is a fabulous game, some dogs can't handle it. If your dog is over the top, crazy about playing tug, and it would be a risk to you, definitely don't play this game with them. But there are plenty of games you can play with them, so look for another outlet for your dog. There are 3 primary rules to keep you and your dog having fun and being safe while playing the game of tug of war. Your very first rule is to make sure you have the appropriate tug item. Now, what you want to avoid here is using a very tiny item that you could get your hand injured when your dog tries to chomp on the toy, or using taboo items like your clothing or maybe even a blanket or something else that's personal that you really don't want your dog to be tugging on, because tugging can actually create some damage to the item you're tugging with. Some items I really like using for tug include a long woven fleece tug. You want something that's substantial so you can keep your body and your hands away from your dog's mouth. We're going to talk about the rules of engagement when it comes to their mouth, but you must start with an appropriate tug item. I also love using a tail teaser. My 2 little toy fox terriers go bonkers when they see this. And I also make sure that these items are kept stored away so their value stays very high, so that way I can use it as a nice reward for things like loose leash walking, impulse control behaviors, and just to wear out our little toy fox terriers, because extra energy can create extra problems. So let's say that your dog actually does put their teeth on your skin. Maybe it was accidental, which happens plenty of times with Norby and I in play. The item might be substantial in length, but I got too close, or his aim was slightly off. In these cases, I tend to say something like, ouch! And it's a real response, because it actually does hurt when they put their teeth on you when playing tug. But there has to be a consequence. There has to be something that happens if they put their teeth on your skin. Now, this doesn't have to be hugely dramatic by any means, because we don't want to negatively impact our relationship with our dog, and we don't want to scare them. Some dogs, actually, if you say ouch or you react in a very explosive way, they also become explosive. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about consequences if your dog were to put their teeth on your hand. Another way to deal with this behavior is to simply end the game. So if my dog accidentally or on purpose grabs my hand or part of my body while we're playing tug, I may say ouch, but I could also just end the game and just move away. Just drop the toy, walk away, and be done with them. Because playing tug involves us. And so if they don't have us, that can be punishing in the sense that they can't have that same game. You can also end by just putting the toy away, trading them for the toy and just putting it up and then giving them a bit of a time out. So that way they understand, oh, there are consequences to putting my mouth on you when we play this game. Rule number 2. Rule number 2 is about teaching your dog how to take breaks and to release the tug item. It's really important that we give our dog an opportunity to take a break, because tug is a very arousing activity, meaning their brain is going to be flooded with adrenaline and they might make poor choices. You know, many times people think arousal is something to do with sexual things in nature, but it's actually just a chemical response. The dog gets overly excited about something, in this case a tug item, and then they lose all control. They can't have any manners anymore. They don't know how to drop things. And we need to help them by giving them small breaks to help regulate their adrenaline. And in order to do that, we need to teach them to drop or release the item when we ask them to. Now, let me be clear. This is not about who's keeping score and who got the win the last time. It's simply about impulse control. So to teach your dog to give up the item willingly, you want to teach them before you play a good round of tug. You are going to want to get something a little lower value than maybe a tail teaser, maybe a long toy, and you're just going to play with them, maybe a rope, and you're going to get them a little bit interested, and then you can do one of two things. You can hold the item still, making it go dead. This is very much into nature. In nature, if an animal dies or plays dead, they go still, and that's not really fun to tug on anymore. So they will release the item. So if you can hold the item really, really still and make it go dead, some dogs will automatically release for that. Then you can praise them and then engage in the tug again as their reward or their reinforcer. Another way to do this is by teaching them to drop or to trade. You can do this with a delicious treat, or you can do it with another toy or tug item. Whatever you're going to offer up as the trade needs to be higher value to the dog than what they have in their mouth. So if you have a rope toy and you offer up a different tug toy, maybe the tail teaser, and that's more exciting, the dog will instantly drop the rope to go to the other item. You want to teach this behavior so you can get items from them in everyday life, but in the game of tug, it's great for them to know, hey, there's a drop or an out, and you need to give up the item. Once the dog is solid on the behavior, meaning about 80% reliable, then you can start adding a word if you like drop, release, and the dog will give it up. Some people actually use holding the dog's collar gently or putting their hand underneath the dog's chin as additional cue to say it's time to release it, in addition to the words and making the item still. Rule number 3 flows nicely with number 2. You want to take frequent breaks to help your dog regulate their adrenaline. Now, playing with them for a very short amount of time, it could be a couple tugs, then take a break, do something else, and then come back to the tug would be a great idea. The idea is that we're helping the dog to think while they're playing. Now, some dogs could tug and tug and tug and still have their brain. While others, it could just be the sight of the tug and then they need a break because it's that exciting. It doesn't mean you can't play with your dog. It just means you need to have frequent breaks to help them be successful. In addition to breaks, I like to incorporate training. So I'll ask my dog to do something, to sit, to down, to wait, and then, woo, okay, you can go get that toy and we can tug with it. So it's great for impulse control as addition to playing the game of tug, as well as just training and teaching your dog, hey, we're gonna do some training in addition to this play. And when you incorporate play into training, the dog is gonna find it super duper fun, but it's also gonna be something they remember longer. Do you remember when you were a child and you sang songs that help you remember things? It's kind of like that for dogs. If they have fun while they're training, they're actually going to retain the information better and be more compliant. Who doesn't want that? One thing our students are concerned about is if their dog starts to growl or look aggressive when they're playing tug. Now, you're going to know your dog best, and if you're unsure, you can definitely reach out for support to help read your dog's body language better. But most dogs, when they play tug, they tend to be very physical as well as audible. This is just part of playing the game, and if that makes you uncomfortable, this may not be the game for you. But understand that this is something from nature. You know, when dogs play with each other this game, they'll do the same thing. They might body slam each other or growl or show their teeth, but you're looking at the whole picture of the dog. If the dog is nice and loose and wiggly and their eyes are nice and blinky, then they're likely just playing. If their body is very stiff, their eyes are very open, then you might have something a little more serious that you're dealing with, and it may not be good to play tug with your dog. Remember, tug is an instinctual behavior for most dogs. This means it's going to look like they're going after prey, and that's going to help them have an outlet for our companion dogs to pretend that they're killing something while they're not actually killing something. It's just part of nature. So by playing with our dogs, it helps them not only retain the information and build a great relationship with us, it actually helps them have an outlet for their natural instincts. I know if you're here on this channel, you love learning more about your dog. And I would love for you to keep learning about dog body language by checking out this video over here, talking about calming signals.